from his studios in New York, it's time for Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Here's your host, Dan Tortora.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Hanging out in studios this morning with my guy Jordan. He's going to be showing up here on video and audio at 10 a.m. Eastern Time with FML Friday Morning Live. But before we go there, we have two gentlemen that are coming off of their time at Syracuse for the football squad and getting set for the NFL draft, which, believe it or not, folks, is next week. And so they are prepping, getting ready for this. One of those guys is Kielan Whitner. He played in all different pieces of Syracuse, special teams, linebacker unit, secondary. Where they needed him, that's where he went. And he fought his way onto the field when he came into Syracuse and continued to do that all the way throughout, finding a place with the old staff and the new staff alike. And with that being said, I'm happy to bring him on to the broadcast, as he is no stranger to the show, and we've always appreciated and respected his time. Kielan, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
And Kielan, you're down in Georgia right now. You and I talked about this a little bit. You're away from the snow, away from the 4 seasons in one day. How's life treating you down in Georgia?
Life is great. Right now it's a little rainy, but, the usual Georgia weather is, sunny and, around the 70s, so it's definitely a switch up from a spring in Syracuse, and I'm enjoying my time down here and just, training and getting ready for the draft.
And what did you miss about Georgia the most when you were up in Syracuse?
There's different things. I would say mainly family, but after that, just getting out of the cold, and there's definitely some food spots down here that I've definitely been taking advantage of since I've been home.
So let everybody know, like the city area, town area that you're in, and then tell me some of that food. What are some of those places?
Okay, so I live in Buckhead, which is just outside of, the central part of Atlanta. But Buckhead's a real nice area. It's like up and coming for young professionals. And some of those food spots I really love, just down home country food. So I gotta go a little bit outside of the city to find that. But there's a great spot I like to hit. It's called Mr. Everything. There's one in the city. There's just a couple other country home cooking spots that I've been taking advantage of. I've got to stay away from the fried stuff since I'm in the middle of training, but I've been able to get some good stuff in my system.
And so being down there, being around family again and whatnot, and prepping for this, you had the opportunity to work out for the Atlanta Falcons, which obviously call Georgia home. What was that experience like to have the hometown team, so to speak?
It was awesome. I've grown up a Falcons fan, growing up in Georgia, seeing all the guys. I remember I have a picture of me and Arthur Blank when I was just a little kid. That's the owner of the Falcons. So me and him just when I was just a little kid. So looking back at those things before I went in and worked out for him was just, good to be able to appreciate the moment and not, stress myself out too much over it. And I was able to go in there and have a good workout, and it was exciting times. And, everybody was excited for me, so it was awesome.
And you also got to work out with the Buffalo Bills up here in, upstate New York. What was that experience like for you?
I really enjoyed my workout with the Bills, getting to know some of the coaches a little bit better. Buffalo, they pride themselves in having, a bunch of hometown guys, a bunch of gritty guys, the guys who, maybe weren't the top draft picks or, the top prospects, so to speak, but just guys that work hard and love the game of football, and they're willing to give anybody a chance. So I really enjoyed my time up there and, what that system and program stands for up there in Buffalo. So excited about, those two opportunities and then, any more that I may have.
And when you're going through this, just kind of what you've taken away, because it's been a while since you've been recruited, when you're coming out of high school and having that opportunity to play collegiately. And now essentially, it reverses in a way where, you want teams to look at you, where in the past, a college team will call you and say, hey, we saw this, we saw that. Where now, you're trying to get out there and put yourself out there. What's the experience been like for you? Is it similar to being recruited when you were in high school? Does it feel totally different? How have you taken it so far?
I mean, there's similarities and differences. I mean, there's definitely less of a crop to pick from, so to speak, with the guys coming out and the prospects. So not many people are fortunate enough to get to this level and have a chance to do this. But then, once it gets down to it, I mean, it is similar to high school in the fact that you kind of got to go out there and prove yourself. There's guys that are high prospects and some guys that aren't, and so just being able to go out there and prove that I belong once again, it's nothing new to me. So I'm just ready to go out there and prove again that I can play at that level, and just excited to show people what I can do.
That coming from Kielan Whitner this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, coming off of his time at Syracuse. Kielan, what were your biggest takeaways from Syracuse? How did Syracuse make you better and help prepare you for the draft?
Syracuse, I mean, when I went there, I felt like I was a kid, and I left a man. So I would say some of my main takeaways were just how to just deal with everyday life. I mean, a lot of things get thrown at you as a student athlete. We live very stressful lives most of the time, so we have a heavy class load, our pressure to perform well on the field is pretty high, and just being able to, enjoy the little things in life and push myself to do my best in everything I do and just control what I can control. So I feel like Syracuse really helped me grow up a lot, become the man I wanted to be, and I just hope I can keep growing and doing the right things. But Syracuse definitely pushed me in the right direction to do all those things.
You played all over the place, defensive back, linebacker, special teams. Wherever they needed you, you went out and played really from the jump when you got to Syracuse. Bring me into that, how playing different positions helps you to be an asset to a team in the NFL.
Yeah, so I came in my freshman year as a safety and played 2 years at safety pretty much. Felt like I did well there, especially my freshman year. Put on a little bit of weight, and our coaches felt like we needed some help at linebacker, so I went down there and felt like I did a solid job down there too. So I just feel like being able to put those things on film and show teams that I can, play two positions, but also that I'm going to, dominate on special teams is really a huge advantage for me because, not many guys can say, okay, I can play two positions and I'm going to dominate on special teams. So a team's going to see that and be like, it's kind of hard to cut this guy if he can do all these things. So I just hope I can go in there and show that, I'm athletic and can run and hit. And I feel like that'll be good enough for me to be able to keep a spot on the team.
And if you had a pick, speaking here with Kielan Whitner, is there a position you're most comfortable with? Is there a place, if I'm an NFL GM and I'm sitting down with you and I say, hey, where should I, if I'm going to put you somewhere, where do you feel that you'll best serve my team? What would you say?
Yeah, I've had that question. It's kind of hard to answer because, I grew up playing safety and defensive back my whole life. So, in high school, I felt like I really did a good job at safety, and even my first 2 years, I was able to fly around. But my 2 years I spent at linebacker in my second season, I ended up, being an all ACC guy. So it's kind of hard to say, but I feel like my athleticism, I can, line up in a nickel's back position, line up at safety, line up at an outside backer position, and a lot of the skill sets are the same, but I feel like anywhere a team wants to put me, that's where I'll be able to go and do a good job at.
That coming from Kielan Whitner. Kielan, before I let you go here, just if you sit down with an NFL team and you've had the opportunity to be around the Falcons and the Bills, and obviously you had your pro day with a bunch of other teams that were there, if I say to you, I got one more spot on my team, okay, I got my 53-man roster, I got one more spot, I'm thinking about you, I'm thinking about 10 other guys, tell me why on and off the field I put Kielan Whitner on my team.
I would say just off the bat, I'm never going to be a problem off the field. I can help come in and create a winning culture for a team. A lot of teams, have, guys that cause off the field problems, guys that are distractions. All I want to do is come in and help a team to win. I'm going to give 110% in everything I do every day. I'm going to know my job on every single snap, and I'm going to be able to fly around and make plays. So I feel like I'm going to do everything right all the time, so I don't really see a reason why I shouldn't get a shot.
And when you look at that, just how you were raised and what you could say about family and morals and values and, faith, family, football, so to speak, how you were brought up to be that guy that's not going to be a trouble or a burden to a team.
Yeah, so my parents, they did a great job from when I was younger, just instilling me and my sister that, our values and our principles that we should live by, and helping us keep, the things that should be important. A lot of times as a student athlete or just, a person in general, we kind of get caught up in social media and the wrong things, and our priorities get a little messed up. But my parents did a great job of just helping us stay grounded, knowing just to rely on our faith whenever we need guidance or leadership, and we'll be all right. So I just really appreciate them for that, and I feel like it's going to help me out a lot in the long run.
And what can you say about the faith side of things? Obviously I'm very strong in my faith. It's something that it drives me. It's everything to me. And when it comes to football, and I found with a lot of athletes, yourself included, is that, the sport of football, the majority of football players have that faith in God, have that trust in God. You're playing a barbaric sport. You're playing a sport that's very dangerous, that, takes a wear and tear on your body every single day, every single game, every single practice. Yet there's that belief in God and that somebody's looking over you. What can you say about faith and its connection to football?
Faith definitely has a strong spot in football, I would say. Just the fact that I feel like faith just has an overarching spot in all of my life. Every decision I make, I try to make the decision that, God would be proud of. I feel like if you live by that and you feel like every decision you make, that God's watching over you, and, just use your gifts and the gifts He's given you to the best of your ability, that you're going to be able to live a happy, successful life. So if I just rely on Him in everything I do and am able to make Him happy, then I feel like I'll be making the best decisions of my life, and whatever happens, happens.
Coming from Kielan Whitner. Kielan, before I let you go here, really quick, Eric Dungey, just what you could say. You went up against him in practice. You obviously know the type of player that he is, and, spent obviously, a lot of time at Syracuse with him. What do you think about him at the next level, and what do you think about him leadership-wise? Because I know that for this team, this has meant a lot to him and kind of all culminated in that Camping World Bowl. What can you say about Eric?
Yeah, Eric's a competitor, man. He's been my roommate since freshman year. That's my guy. So I know he'll get a shot at the NFL. Hopefully he'll get a chance to get drafted. But whatever team he goes to, he's getting a competitor. So, a lot of teams, question his arm strength. I've never seen a problem with him making a throw when he needed to make that throw. So I'm just excited about Eric's future and know he's going to get to the next level and dominate. And whatever a team wants him to do, maybe he'll be the next Taysom Hill. But whatever a team needs him to do, I know Eric will be able to get it done and do it with a lot of intensity and effort.
Bring me into roommate life. I got to know a few things here. What did you guys typically eat? Because when I was in college, it was peanut butter sandwiches and ramen. So what did you guys eat?
Yeah, no, that wasn't our diet. I would say we mostly stuck to, Rex Culpepper was one of our roommates and Ryan Guthrie was the other one. So we had some big boys in there, and me and Rex did most of the cooking. So I cooked a lot of the chicken. Rex cooked, the red meat and the fish. So I cooked a lot of chicken, I'd say. We would go to Wegmans and get the big family pack, and I would whip that up we would get 2 for the 4 of us. So that's about 12 pieces of chicken, 13, something like that. We would eat that. And then for our sides, we would always make a big thing of potatoes or just a bunch of, meathead things to eat, a bunch of things to help us gain weight or keep our weight on. And it was always funny. People would come over and make fun of us, like, oh, man, all you guys do is drink protein and eat steaks. But it helped us keep our weight on, and I felt like we all had decent seasons this year, so it must have paid off.
And everybody got bigger, from you to Dungey to Guthrie to Culpepper. Obviously it worked because everybody seems to have kind of boosted themselves, so to speak, and Rex continues to do so.
Yeah, for sure. Rex will always be probably the best in shape. I don't think I've ever seen that guy eat sugar before, so he's probably the most serious one about his diet in the house, and it shows. So he's been doing good though.
And what can you say about your guy Rex? I had the opportunity to to be down in HB Plant in Tampa for 7-on-7. And, I got to spend some time, talk with Rex a lot. Definitely have appreciated my relationship with him. I got to see him and his brother a few years back and meet Coach down there and everything. What can you say about, what he's been and what he's gone through? I mean, he was an inspiration before he, had to come out and make that note that, cancer had been a part of his life. I mean, he was an inspiration to me before that. He's an inspiration to me during that, after that. What can you say about Rex? And now he's got, like I talked to you about it at Syracuse's spring game, he's got some luscious locks again. So what can you tell me about Rex?
Yeah, Rex is growing the hair out. He looks good. Rex is a character, man, but he's a great guy. He's definitely gonna look out for his friends all the time, and I feel like that's one of the only things you can look for just as a friend, first of all. So his loyalty's always there, and I mean just his effort he always puts in. I mean he'll never let us slack off. I know we've got like a pull-up bar in our house, these little push-up grips on the ground. We're always working out, so he's always pushing us to be better. And I mean, even if things weren't going right for him on the field, he was always, had a positive attitude. During camp is a tough time, and he was always encouraging Dungey in the quarterback position, and then encouraging me and Ryan as linebackers just to keep pushing, and everything would work out. So we really appreciate Rex for just his attitude and his effort and how he always pushes us to be our best.
And what about Ryan Guthrie? I mean, he had himself a tremendous story. He's a guy who, didn't show up on the depth chart to maybe being somebody in rotation, to maybe being in the two deep, to then being the starter, to then being the quarterback of the defense, so to speak. Just what you could say about, him being a friend to you, being a roommate to you, but also his story of just building himself up to a point where he earned his keep, and he, had his final season at Syracuse where he got to be the guy that, was making strides. And in all honesty, if they could give an offensive and a defensive MVP, I think in the Camping World Bowl you would agree that he should have been up for that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan, he's my roommate still now through this training process. And I hope he gets the opportunity as well to go and play at the next level. I know he can do it. But, he's a great guy as well. He's a great friend. Always has my back. And, I mean, just the season he had this year was incredible. The way he was able to just kind of block out the noise when people told him he wasn't good enough, wasn't big enough, wasn't strong enough, wasn't fast enough. He was just able to block all that out and focus on, what he can control, which was, giving the best effort he could on every snap. And he was able to break through. I think right before the first game, they put him as the one. I don't even think he was starting that week in practice. And then after that first game, no one ever looked back. So I was happy for him, and it's been a great ride.
And finally, for you, just your biggest attributes, and then maybe some of the areas that you're keying in on going into the NFL draft that people should know.
Yeah, so I would definitely say my number one is my knowledge of the game. I'm going to know everything on every snap, where everybody else needs to be, and just be able to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing on each snap. So I'm able to do that, and then I would say my coverage ability is good, especially at a linebacker position. I feel like I can cover a slot receiver, a tight end, a running back, whatever someone needs me to cover. And then so this offseason I've been focused on putting some weight on. I probably ended the season around 208, 210, somewhere in there, and I'm up to 225 right now. And I got faster than I was. A lot of teams, question my speed at times, but I've ran a 4.5 on pro day, so feeling good about that, feeling good about my new weight, and just excited for the opportunities in the future.
That coming from Kielan Whitner. Well, Kielan, obviously with this week coming up and the NFL draft coming up, I will be watching, as you know, and hoping to see that name come across the ticker. Either way, I know you'll get an opportunity. And as always, I appreciate you keeping in touch and hope we continue to do so. I can't believe it's been 4+ years, but I appreciate all the time that you've given to me, and I thank you for being the person that you've been in this community.
We appreciate you, Dan. Thank you.